Hi, this is Brad Humphrey, and this is another Learning While Listening podcast. Increasing sales by speedier response. How many of you, as you drive through your favorite fast food restaurant, expect to hear, sir or ma'am, please pull it forward and we'll bring the food out to you? The answer is never. For several years, fast food chains actually had a space reserved for you to wait, and they would run the food out to you. Why don't you see this much anymore around the country? Because consumers hated it. They didn't expect to pull forward and wait. They came to a fast food restaurant to get their food, fast. When contractors tell me that they need more sales, my first question is always, what is your current cycle time for your sales process? That is, how much time is there between making the initial customer contact and closing the sale? After they tell me that they don't make calls riding on a Harley Davidson, I actually heard this one time, most contractors either guess at the amount of time or just simply admit they don't know. To increase sales, you must decrease cycle time. You must eliminate all the little distractions and hurdles that can prevent you from experiencing sales at a faster clip. As market research has proven, speed kills. The competition, that is, and builds greater sales revenue potential for you. Though many factors affect sales, speedier delivery of estimates is certainly one of the single best ways to increase sales. Why? Well, do you remember the old cliche, the early bird gets the worm? This is no less applicable for anyone in the construction industry. Come on now. If you are first to respond to a customer's request, the first to address their special needs, whatever they might be, the first to get your proposal in their hands, and the first to ask for the order, your percentage of successful closings will increase dramatically. Why? Because customers like contractors who display a sense of urgency. Calling back within 24 hours, showing up when you say you're going to show up to inspect the property and get an estimate in the customer's hands so they can make a decision. As a past commercial contractor, I aimed for responding to a customer's call within the day it came and 48 hours turnaround from call to providing an estimate. Now, that's not always going to be possible. I get that. Now, did our own business hit this target 100%? Of course not. But we were consistent under this number, and over 40% of our bids averaged under 24 hours. Now, this speedy delivery resulted in a much higher acceptance rate than when we didn't have a standard. Now, again, we were a subcontractor in the construction industry, so what we provided didn't require necessarily weeks and weeks and weeks of studies. But again, look at your own industry specialty and look at the turnaround time. Can you cut any of the time out and reduce that cycle time? I guarantee you'll see an increase in your hit rate. Now, how do you achieve faster cycle times in the selling process? Well, here are 10.5 rules and guidelines to help you turn estimates faster and to increase sales. Number one, set a goal for a cycle time. As simple as this may sound, the goal should be the driving factor enforcing better customer service, scheduling of estimates, job costing, and estimating capabilities, yada, yada, yada. Measure the goal on a weekly basis and then post those results. Talk about cycle time with your sales staff, your estimators. Help them see how critical this goal is and how they personally impact the cycle time. Remember, speed kills your competition. Number two, develop an estimating system that is really user-friendly for both the estimator and those administrative geniuses in the assistants that help put those estimates together. On simpler jobs, estimators can measure the quantities and then hand the task over to an assistant to finish preparing the estimate. Even if the estimator wants to look it over, it saves estimators time, allowing them to focus on more difficult or comprehensive bids. The real key to this effort is to have prepared templates and formats set up on your computer for quick access. Having this advantage can cut your actual preparation time for estimates for some people in half. Third point, assign someone in your office to group prospect appointments together and make an efficient route for you or your estimators, your salespeople, whenever possible. Too much time and gas expense is spent daily by people selling who are horrible time management people. Plus, when times are a bit slow, poor performing estimators and salespeople will stretch out distances between calls to incur less rejection with the excuse that they are spending all day in their truck. Have your inside person, whoever that might be, knowledgeable about locations in your market area and to take the lead on when to have estimators make their calls. This will force more communication between your estimators and the office staff. A fourth point, know your cost for your more routine and simpler products and services. I have never understood why more contractors do not look at it this way. You shouldn't have to perform a lengthy process for bid development on these type of items. While each job may contain that one area that will be tricky to construct and to complete due to some architectural challenges or maybe city requirements, you need to have already developed what might be the square foot price, if that's what you're measuring, for whatever efforts that you're trying to service, whether you're a painter or a sheetrock contractor or a concrete contractor or mason. This requires you to develop and update a database with job costs, something many small contractors often lack or leave completely untouched. 5. When dealing with residential or smaller commercial jobs that can be estimated quickly with the prospect, and I mean like when you're actually at the job site, use a pre-printed contract form. Now, most of you probably have that on your software program for your computer or your laptop. I've seen many contractors lose work because they just wanted to send their standard packet in the mail. Hey, when you have a school system building administrator with the authority to sign a work order and school starts in less than a week, trust me, you had better have a standard contract available to close the deal and close it now. There's no excuse for not having such quick turnaround potential. 6. Don't lose the opportunity to close a sale. Now, this is especially true for residential contractors. Many times, homeowners are very spontaneous in what they see. When they see or hear something, it's a spontaneity. They want to see something quickly. Now, this actually builds nicely on what I just shared earlier from point 5. If you do not always carry pre-printed contracts that can be manually completed at the customer's location, or at least have the opportunity to fill one out on your laptop or your tablet and print that out at the customer or the homeowner's home or office, you'll have a tendency then not to push to close as much when the customer may actually be the most receptive. Remember, sales is both identifying and meeting customer needs. But the faster you can do that and clearly ask for the order, you're going to lose less of those opportunities to close the deals. Also, often the impulse close of a sales rewards you with a higher premium price and better margin. Remember, too, you can always send the formal proposal at a later date if you didn't close immediately. 7. Hey, everything you can, engage today's technology. Don't fight it. It's here. Equip your estimators with laptops or tablets, and I would even put some portable printers in those trucks or cars so that the estimates can be printed within minutes of developing the takeoff numbers. Again, this may apply maybe to the more simple of jobs, but it still must be embraced or you lose out on closing situations. Also, if you and your estimating people do not have emails, I can't imagine how they couldn't. Get it done and get it done now. More and more customers, residential and commercial, are quite adjusted to using emails on a more regular basis than ever. I mean, come on, think about it. How many millions of people are now doing online banking? So make sure that everything technology-wise is really at the fingertips for your salespeople. 8. Certainly electronically send through emails the proposal back to the prospective client. In some cases, mail can take 3, 4, 5 days or more to arrive. The electronic mail or even the faxes, and there are still people using faxes, allow you to advise the client immediately. The formal contract and subsequent company material may not be needed at this time. Depending on the prospect, you may still want to hand deliver some of the proposal, but remember that most of your prospects respect those contractors that respect their time. and speed kills the competition. 9. Now, going out a little farther out for some, have a local courier hand deliver the contract. Hey, for larger projects that require documentation that is too lengthy to be emailed or faxed in your mind, a $9 to $12 delivery fee is much less than having the estimator drive all the way across town just to have the estimate delivered. It also impresses the client as it can usually be delivered within a couple of hours. But again, this effort should be used primarily for the larger jobs, but it does send a clear message that what you're doing has greater value. The more demanding prospect, or the prospect whom you can impress with your urgency, using this effort to get a bid delivered could be a very impressive thing to do. 10, generate your estimates by computer all the time. I'm amazed when I still see how many contractors still do hand-generated bids. Developing all estimates by hand is at least 40% slower and frankly is unprofessional in this day and age. Have pre-printed paragraphs, task descriptions that can be integrated into your proposal or attached. Hey, don't be fooled by software marketing companies as convincing you that they can provide you with all the bells and whistles you're ever going to need. You're still going to have to tailor everything you buy, trust me, electronically. But there isn't a contractor estimating system yet that is perfect for every contractor. Study the available systems. Take as many free samples as you can to work with them, but find the system that it really is best for you and that allows you and your people the opportunity to modify and tailor that system to their organization. Spend the extra bucks and contract with an IT savvy young person, especially who might be able to help you work the bugs out of whatever system you will land on. And finally, that 10.5, that 10.5, double check the correct spelling, address, title of the prospect. This is just such a basic rule of thumb, but it can still literally cause you the greatest form of embarrassment or even the loss of a sale. Don't allow your mail to wander around a large company or be undeliverable because of poor investigative work on your company's part. Knowing the rules, it isn't enough. You must commit to implementing as many as you can of the 10.5 points or rules that I just shared with you. They will increase your sales, I promise you, but they'll also increase your image with your clients. Faster cycle time reassures the client that you have effective systems and processes to meet their needs. Need further proof? Well, one of our own clients who enacted speed into his cycle time reported a 30% increase in sales just over the past year. We have had hundreds of contractors experience similar results by simply speeding up their sales process. Interesting also is the fact that many of these same contractors have admitted that the other areas of their company have also improved. Why? Because when sales escalates, schedules become tighter and the amount of time between jobs is condensed. And when there is less time between jobs, your workers are forced to find more creative ways to deliver a job on time at or below estimate and with superior quality of construction the first time. Hey, speed is the name of the game for just about any contractor I've ever known. You don't have speed, you don't have a future. Speed demands that everyone raises their game to the next level of excellence. Focus on making your entire sales process faster with quality, and you'll not only raise your sales revenues this next year, you'll also see a rise in margins that you can begin getting due to better cost controlling and job efficiencies by your field crews. A great side benefit. Hey, best of luck to speeding up your selling efforts. Again, this is Brad Humphrey. I hope you've enjoyed this Learning While Listening podcast.